The issue of homelessness has garnered much attention in the metro recently following a fire at a homeless camp along the Des Moines River. While it's no secret many of the homeless people living in tents and so-called hooches are veterans, we don't often examine the question of why.
Tonight, in part one of a special series on homeless veterans, we meet a Vietnam veteran and learn about a program helping to keep him off the streets. Lynn Melling has the story in high definition only on 13.
You know where we're at here? Yeah. Okay.
Behind the scenes at Goodwill, Paul Lizotte loads up donations to send off for sale.
This place right here is the best thing that's ever happened to me. Yep.
At age 57, Goodwill Industries of Central Iowa has given him a new job and a fresh start.
We're grateful for this place because, come on, 3.5 years unemployed. I'm finally going to learn how to turn on a computer. I'm going to end up with a better job out of this place.
Paul has been trying to get his life on track since the late 1960s, when he returned from Vietnam, still just a teenager, even after 2 tours. His own brother had been killed, as well as countless brothers in uniform. At his homecoming, protesters shattered what little strength he had left.
It made me to where I didn't even want to come back after the second tour. I wanted to crawl into a hole, and that's what I did. I crawled into a hole and I hid for the last 40 years. This was where I camped at. It was right off in this area. And I stayed here. I liked it. I still like it. Kind of miss it in a way.
For the past 15 years, Paul has lived out of his car or a tent. He says the river near Southeast 14th was a refuge, soothing a phobia he developed as a soldier.
When somebody didn't show up, you knew what happened, you know, when they just weren't coming back. They were in a rubber bag or something, and it wasn't good. I mean, this way I didn't lose friends. Out here I didn't lose friends. If I didn't make friends, I didn't lose friends.
Over the years, connections to family, including his 4 kids, disintegrated as drug problems and a destructive bitterness grew. He admits a bad, sometimes violent attitude prevented him from holding down a job. For Paul, this has been a 40-year battle. And while he doesn't ask for pity, he believes he deserves some empathy.
Walk in my shoes once and see how it goes. Go to Vietnam, come back, be treated like a dog, worse than a dog, and see how you have an attitude.
Paul is hardly alone. In 2005, a state study found 20% of the estimated 21,000 homeless Iowans were veterans. Last August, Goodwill Industries of Central Iowa was awarded a 3-year grant to start the Homeless Veterans Reintegration Program. So far, it has served 115 homeless veterans in the metro by using a comprehensive approach.
Say, for example, if you have a guy going to AA or a guy going to VA for psych counseling or whatever it may be, and that meanwhile he's also getting job training skills or whatever it may be here.
Edwin Morris is the outreach counselor for the Goodwill program. His job is out in the trenches, reaching out to veterans living in camps and shelters. The ultimate goal is to find them a job, but finding them shelter and addressing issues like substance abuse come first. Morris admits it's an uphill battle.
You have a guy that lived under the bridge for 5 years. Now you have to tell this guy, you know what, you have to wake up every morning at 8 o'clock and go to work. I mean, you just think about that transition, you know. You have to be there on time.
As an Iraq War veteran himself, he understands the complexities of former soldiers, many of whom are rebelling against the system.
I'm not going to follow those rules over there. I'm an individual. I make my own rules, and I do what I want to do. That's the mindset of some of these guys. And those are the guys that are very, I would say, it's a challenge to work with, but eventually wants to give in and kind of get on board with the plan. Those are the guys sometimes are be very successful.
This is security. This is my home.
Paul is now one of those success stories. He's living at the Randolph Hotel downtown and holding down the job at Goodwill. He's even talking about going back to school. He sees a counselor every week and was recently diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder 4 decades after Vietnam.
I'm more people-friendly now than I've ever been in my life. And I've kind of calmed down a little.
From the first I met Paul to now, it's like it's not the same person. His social skills, it was bad when we met Paul.
But unfortunately, the work of helping homeless veterans doesn't end here.
This whole Operation Iraqi Freedom thing, there's homeless veterans are getting younger and younger every day.
There's going to be such a rage coming out of these kids that are coming back that life is just going to be unbearable for them.
As a new generation of war veterans returns from Iraq and Afghanistan, Paul worries many will spend the next 40 years following in his ill-fated footsteps.
They're going to have to learn how to deal with it. I hope they don't choose my road of going for the loner.
But it's already clear young veterans are taking that path, whether they realize it or not. Since last summer, Goodwill has worked with roughly a dozen veterans who served in the Middle East in recent years and are now homeless. It's a sobering sign that even when the current wars end, Americans can't afford to let their patriotic cries to support the troops fall silent. Because for many soldiers, their toughest fight is only just beginning. In Des Moines, Lynn Melling, Channel 13 News.
Tomorrow night at 10, we'll meet a 29-year-old veteran of recent combat in the Middle East who is also battling homelessness. If you're a veteran and need help, please visit our website for links about where to find it. Go to WHOTV.com and click on As Seen on 13.
Powerful stuff.
Yeah.